Tonight, it's all about the R's. Reduce, reuse and recycle. Let's keep it clean, people. It's the only way. This is DXB Today.
Welcome to yet another edition of DXB Today. Hope you're having a good evening. Tonight, we are marking World Environment Day in style. A day dedicated to raising awareness about environmental issues on this, our beautiful planet.
Oh yes, and from incredible eco-adventures to innovative green technologies that we saw at the Expo 2020, Dubai has been on an incredible journey leading all the way up to COP28.
Oh, COP28, I'm looking forward to that one. We're also going to learn some practical steps that you can take to lead a more conscious lifestyle, starting from recycling electronic devices, exploring the UAE's organic farms and learning about installing solar panels in our homes. Looking forward to that. All in line with the UAE's Net Zero 2050 strategic initiative. Yes, indeed. So, Tom, what steps are you taking to actually be a part of this new generation of recycling? I can imagine you in your farm.
Do you want me to be honest?
Potting around.
Do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to be sort of like a bit wishy-washy on the TV?
Go on, bit of both. Bit of both.
Bit of both. I could do better.
Okay.
I could do better. Got a big family, all the kids at school. They're better at being more sustainable and greener and more environmentally aware than I am, and I'm the first one to admit that one. Because I think they've grown up with it. They've grown up with the need, etc. Whereas I certainly have had to change my opinions. So yeah, we recycle at home. I'm trying to reduce my dependence on plastic, single-use plastics, especially plastic water bottles.
Yeah.
But I won't lie, it's tough in an environment like this when you are so dependent on water and rehydrating all the time. It is tough, and you do find yourself slacking. So you can put me on the naughty step if you want.
I think I will, mate, because there's a machine that you can get, which is wonderful, and it's like a filter machine. You put it in your house, and then it filters.
I've got all that. We've got all that.
You've got all that.
But I'm very rarely at home. I'm on the road all the time, you know.
True indeed.
But don't beat him up for that, because I mean, I'm sure all of us still have a lot to go. I mean, we still have a long way to go when it comes to recycling and being more sustainable in our lifestyles. I know I recycle, but for sure, when it comes to segregating, a lot of us are not even good at segregating the right kind of plastics to recycle, because that's also something that we need to keep an eye on.
It's the education process as well, I think, especially with recycling and the mindset. I mean, again, if we're amongst friends, no one's listening, you're talking. It is that trust element, isn't it? Because you need that trust. You need to be able to go, OK, if I'm going to go to the trouble of washing up this plastic covering, etc., putting it into my recycling, I want to know that's going to recycling.
Yes.
True.
That is another big one.
And that element of trust you need to build, I think.
Yeah. I like the solar panel thing, though. That's happening now.
Yes.
I really like that, because growing up in the Caribbean, it was always a thing. Then when I first got here, it was never really a thing, and I was like, I don't understand. But then obviously you have to educate and understand about the sand and how it can ruin the panels and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's happening.
Question: how on earth does solar energy and solar power work in the Caribbean? The sun doesn't shine down there, does it?
Depends what island you're on, mate, I tell you.
Right, we think we've got this one nailed, don't we, eh? But worry not, because we've got some real superstars in this field joining us here today as guests, and of course, guest co-host today as well. A global sustainability leader and a driving force in the transition to a low-carbon economy. Time now for us to find out who is tonight's guest co-host.
Hi, I'm Alida Saleh, Senior Advisor for the Climate Champions team for the Built Environment. I can't wait to start talking about all things green at DXB today.
Alida is a very passionate individual, passionate about transformation, and she joins us in the studio very, very shortly. Great to have Alida join us. Now, when it comes to recycling, the buzz is all around plastics and clothes. But have you ever stopped and wondered what happens to, well, your electronics in the UAE after users are done with them, after they have seen their entire lifetime? We stopped by the largest integrated e-waste recycling and processing facility in the entire region to find out a little bit more.
Electronic waste is the fastest growing waste stream in the world, and it continues to rise. And even though you're standing in a state-of-the-art 400,000 square foot facility that can process 40 million kgs per year, considering the average resident of Dubai produces 17 kilos per person per year, we would actually need 3 of these facilities just for Dubai. So we employ some really cool technologies. This one here is an optical sorter. Because the plastic, the circuit board, and the aluminium all have similar characteristics and weight, we're able to separate them visually. It recognizes that this is a circuit board and needs to go into one bin, and that the plastic and the aluminium go into another for later sorting. So now we come to my favorite part. This guy's called the octopus, and I think you can tell why. This is where we're separating the light plastics from the heavy metals, and more importantly and excitingly, the gold. So now that we've learned about electronic waste, what about stuff that isn't quite waste? It might be end of use for you, but it might not be end of life for the device. Now, a lot of people are concerned about throwing away their devices because of the data, and rightfully so. But here at EnviroServe, we have an entire division dedicated to data wiping, checking the assets to see if they're still useful, cleaning them up, fixing them up, and giving them a second life in another market. So what was once your trash is now a treasure for somebody else to use.
Considering how tech-savvy this community is and how we just need to have the latest gadget, it's great that we have something like EnviroServe, right?
Brilliant.
Now, here with us right now, Alida, we want to know more about you and being the Senior Advisor to Climate Champions team here in the UAE. Tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. So I am the Senior Advisor for the Climate Champions team for the built environment. It's a really exciting time, you know, with COP coming up in the region. I'm also the Head of Sustainability for JLL. And really, my goal is to promote sustainable practices in every part of life, in every aspect of your being. And hopefully, you know, it's about a personal choice, but it's also a professional choice that I've made. So
Alida, I'm always very conscious of our viewers on a show like this, and a lot of them will have heard of COP.
Yes.
All the COPs up to 28, we haven't yet.
Yes.
A lot will not have heard of COP. Why is COP 28 so significant, not just to the UAE, but the world?
COP28 presents an opportunity, really, for the global countries to come together and do a global stocktake. It's the first time this is ever happening. And it's an opportunity for everybody to see what is that differential between what they have said they are going to do and how are we going to meet our Paris Agreement for reaching 1.5. So it's a really important and a critical milestone. It's where everybody is going to start saying, here are the actions I'm going to take in order to combat my carbon footprint.
So it's the walk in the walk rather than talking the talk,
exactly.
Is it?
It's definitely a COP of action.
Yeah, I remember when Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, she really shook things up in Edinburgh, in Scotland. And she's going to obviously be here for that time. She holds people accountable. That's what I love about that. And a lot of country leaders need to be held accountable for actually, like climate change is a big thing, and who's doing anything about it? Let's see. They talking it, but are they walking it?
And to that point, I mean, is that... You know, there's been a few eyebrows raised about the fact that COP28 is being held in Dubai, in the middle of the Middle East, in the middle of the GCC as well, an area where a lot of natural fuels and natural resources emanate from. Does that make it all the more significant in a way that it's being held here in Dubai?
You know, I really love the way that you said that, because I think it is significant. You know, if you don't have the right players helping you transition to being more renewable, more green, you're going to lose the battle, because the UAE and, a lot of our Middle Eastern countries who are very rich in terms of its oil and gas industry, we have that ability, we have the resources to start investing in renewables. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing Dr. Sultan Jabr really taking the stand towards transitioning to renewables. So I don't think we need, I really would dissuade people from saying, or shedding a negative light on saying that UAE is holding COP28. I think we should see this as a golden opportunity to transition the world.
Now, since you mentioned getting everyone to join in on this, obviously when people think of COP28, they're thinking, oh, it's just a conversation for officials, for business leaders and things like that. How do we get the regular person to be interested in COP28 and in these conversations?
It's about these kinds of conversations. It's about awareness. And I think the more we talk about it, the more our students and our youth start to engage in it. If you have noticed, youth have a huge portion to play in COP28. And I think this is an opportunity for us to step up globally to see what are our youth going to do, how can they contribute, what does this mean for them. And really, it's not about waiting for someone to tell us, let's get involved. It's about figuring out how this can happen. Talk to your school, talk to the people who you work with, figure out a way how to get involved, because COP is divided into two zones, which is the blue zone, which is a dignitary kind of, the protocols and everybody, go there. And then there's the green zone. And the green zone is open to the public. I really would encourage everybody to take a moment to go and visit. Look at what's happening, because if you continue to say, action isn't being taken, go there and ask the questions to those organizations that are talking about, here's the actions I'm taking. Keep them responsible. I think we all need to step back and say, what am I doing versus what are they doing? It's not a blame game. It's about what can we do better tomorrow. So it's always a way of efficiencies and always a way of improvement.
I like that. Yeah, community.
Yeah.
Power to the people and all that.
It's one person at a time, and it really is, it's collective action. It's not about just the corporates, it's not about the government, it's not about the people, it's about us collectively coming together as a community to help save our planet.
But to that end, I mean, how important is it? I mean, I suppose two elements to this question. Are we seeing change? Are we seeing results already? Are we starting to see change? And B, how important is it for organisation, for the corporate world to come on board with that as well? Yeah, there's a big old focus on schools, big old focus on education, big old focus on me having my green bin and my black bin, etc., and doing my bit as well.
So
but without your big corporates getting involved, we're not going to make any change, are we?
I don't know if you won't make any change. I think change would be a little slower.
It'll be slower.
Yeah. I do believe we're starting to see the momentum. Like, if you look at it from a global perspective, and you start seeing that, globally legislations are already there that kind of, encourage organizations to start taking the first step. But we see in the region, what I'm really starting to see as I work with my own clients, is those who are really trying to be the leaders, who want to step up and set up. It's no longer okay for me to continue doing business as usual.
Yeah.
I actually see that, climate change is a $10 trillion opportunity. So why shouldn't I capitalize on it? And so there is a cost to implement, but the cost of inaction is going to be severe.
I love that you said that, and we've just seen the team from EnviroServe, and again, that's something that they're very keen to, a message they're keen to get across, which is a lot of people will see climate change as a cost to their organisation. Okay, I've got to tick the boxes, CSR, etc. But you can monetize this as well. There are opportunities to be made.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's where we have to change that narrative. But it's a hard journey. Let's be really honest. This is not something simple. Organizations don't know how to spit out a net zero strategy. And that's where we'd say, reach out to people, start talking to those who are already on the journey to say, what did you do? How did you do it? In fact, last week, we just had the Road to COP event that happened in the Ritz-Carlton in Dubai. And that's what it was all about. How do we start that journey? What is it? What's stopping you? Because I think we need to be explicit about what are the challenges, because unless we are open about it, we're never going to be able to reach the goals that we've set out.
Well, I mean, look, we've started the conversation now.
Yes.
We will continue it. It's amazing. I love this. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to check out the UAE's largest organic farm, plus an app that makes recycling so much easier. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We are joined now in the studio by an agriculture expert and a pioneer in organic farming, agritourism and retail in the UAE. Please welcome Yazin Al-Qadmani, the operations manager of Emirates Biofarm. Yazin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first things first, for those of you or for those of us who are not that familiar with farming versus biofarming, do you want to just quickly explain that?
Well, bio is the word used for organic in Europe. So it comes from biological farming. The idea is that you're not having any synthetic chemicals in the process. So in the pesticides, in the herbicides, fertilizers, and so on. So bio is just another word for organic. So we're in organic agriculture.
But it sounds like it's so much more complicated than just the regular farming. Why would you go that route then?
Well, traditionally speaking, the farming revolution had a lot of benefits where we are able to feed humanity in large numbers and food is in abundance. But we have realized that some problems came down the line with the environmental impact. So people started looking at methods of being productive but trying to grow within nature, not despite it. So organic agriculture is one of those solutions that people are trying to develop so that we can produce food but minimize our environmental damage.
I'm just seeing images of the farm itself, so viewers getting a better idea. And I think a lot of viewers will look at that and go, it's outside. A lot of people would think, oh, hang on, it's within the greenhouses, it's all covered up. No, this is outside on a large scale as well.
Yeah.
And the question I'm sure from a lot of viewers will be, how on earth do you do that in an environment like this?
Correct. Well, we have 6 months of lovely weather, as you all know, which is great for agriculture. It's stable, temperatures are stable, we have abundance of sunlight. So you are able to farm. It's just the opposite of a northern hemisphere agriculture season. So usually frost starts coming in November, December, and farming stops in most of Europe, Canada, let's say, northern areas. And then they start again once it thaws in March, April. We are the complete opposite. So we start in November and we end in April, so our farming season, our open field farming season is coming to an end. But you are able to farm outside in this climate. One of the key things is we're trying to keep it cost appropriate. So if we do everything undercover, there's going to be a lot of capital expenditure. It's going to make the food a bit costly. So we have the greenhouses, but those are to support us over the summer. And then we have shade houses to transition us, and then we have the open field. So that way we're able to farm as cost effectively as possible, depending on the season.
I love this idea of farming in the UAE. Tell me a little bit more about for the lay person who wants to come and understand and have a tour. Do you guys do anything such as like agritourism or
Yes.
I would love to know more about it.
So the farm is open to guests November to April during the season, so we just closed end of April. There's a restaurant on the farm that's vegetarian, so fully from the farm's products, and not just vegetarian as in imports. If we don't have broccoli, then there's no broccoli on the menu. That's how it works. And then we're doing farm tours on tractors, there's guides, people get to harvest. It's a bit of education, maybe 10 minutes of education, and the rest is photos, having fun. And you see people, once they put their hand in the soil, their entire demeanor and it changes because this is something that's missing. People want to be out in nature. They want to be interacting with it as well.
The food thing really got my attention. So when it comes to the food that you're growing, I want to know what sort of produce are you growing? And clearly, obviously, the produce that you have is from farm to table for the cafe and the restaurant that you have there.
So we're doing all the main stuff, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and then the open field stuff. So you have potatoes, root crops, onions, carrots, beetroots, all the lettuces, all the leafies. So we grow over 50 types of fruits and vegetables, and there's a lot of stuff that we do for fun. So I have grapevine that is not as productive or cost, but it is great as a gift, obviously. Figs, pomegranates, so we do a bit of fruits as well. And that makes the restaurant experience something that you can't really find anywhere else in the UAE.
Yeah, because it's seasonal, right? Yeah.
It's seasonal, and then we're trying to talk about food waste, which is something very important.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of odd-shaped, it's a lot of parts that you would usually discard. It's a lot of things because the chef doesn't get a menu. I don't even know what we're having that day. It's very, you know, he has to cook a main, and there's a all-day breakfast, and that's it. He can get creative. He can use a pumpkin leaf as a dish after, you know, just baking it in a way, and you know, they can just experiment all day long.
It doesn't matter what it looks like, does it? You could just shove it in a soup and it
all comes out. When it's that fresh, it tastes extraordinary. You'll notice the difference. So listen, you mentioned there the fruits and the vegetables. Any animals on the farm at all?
We have today about 16,000 chickens. We are
just
the largest.
16,000, yeah?
We are the largest organic egg producer in the country.
Nice.
And we supply most major supermarkets.
So that's what I wanted to ask about the eggs, because, you know, and the eggs have been a big story around the world because we've seen the price of the eggs going up left, right, centre in a number of markets. Yeah. The demand for good, fresh, organic eggs here in the UAE, I'm sure that's a demand that's growing.
Yeah, organic as a segment has been growing like 15% year over year. You might have noticed 5 years ago it was a small section. Today it's taking up entire rows in supermarkets. You see it now not on the side, it's in the major areas next to the eggs as well. Organic is taking up a big space. So yes, it is growing. People want good food, and obviously the cost is much higher. But there's a lot of economies of scale that we would benefit from. So the more this grows, the more the cost should come down.
Happy chickens?
Yes, happy. So organic means cage-free, and then free range. So you have the open areas and the indoor areas. Yeah.
I've had the privilege of going down to the farm. It is a unique experience, a brilliant experience. But why? Because it's so different.
Yes.
It's different from everything that is offered here. It's a great experience. And in terms of the tours, will you expand them moving forward or not?
Well, great news came out 2 weeks ago. Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan announced 71 new activities on farms. And this is something that we have been waiting for. So as part of expanding ecotourism and sustainability in the UAE, now we can manufacture pickles and jams, so I can reduce my waste.
That's nice.
Now we can have a lodge. As long as I farm 70% of the land, I can use that 30%. So people can do overnight stays. You can have proper events, much larger restaurants. And so we're starting our design now to expand next year. So hopefully you'll visit us. It'll be a completely different experience, a much larger one.
Before you know it, you'll have Netflix following around with cameras. It'll be a documentary.
Hopefully,
Not
yes.
just Jeremy Clarkson's farm, it'll be the Edwards Bio farm as well. Quite right too. Listen, great story. We're going to ask you to stay with us for just a little while, but time now for our Spotlight today. Who's our Spotlight today is a brand that specialises in energy optimisation services, be it in your home or your office, which helps to reduce carbon emissions and overall utility costs. Here's our interview with Vikram Mehta, the COO and the co-founder of MeSolar.
Hi, my name is Vikram, and I'm an energy engineer by background. I started MeSolar because we come from a business family that worked in the construction sector. I found a big gap in the market in the landscape and renewable segment, and that's what MeSolar aims to do, is to provide net zero landscaping solutions. I think the end goal that I want to solve with MeSolar is our dependence on non-renewable sources of energy. So maybe 10 years or 5 years down the line to have zero carbon emission per project that we execute. So the long-term vision that I want at MeSolar is that every single project that we execute is net zero carbon emission. What does that mean? That means that for every single item that we purchase and install, the carbon offset is taken care of internally. In this project, for example, we're very close to net zero because every single thing installed here is self-sustaining. we're not looking at an alternative source of energy to power any of these items. I think my number one favorite thing is the rate at which the leaders of the country move and evolve. Sometimes they're faster than certain businesses, even for companies like us, SMEs who are so fast and nimble in shifting processes and procedures. We're unable to keep up with the government. And that's something that most countries are unable to do, which is why this city is progressing so rapidly. It's so good at finding out gaps where they need to work on and then come out with the solution in days. There's this one time a couple of years ago that I started this now so-called tradition. I rented a bike in Kudra and I was biking the 50K track around the Mohammed bin Rashid Solar Park. And these gazelles came through. This is at 5:30 in the morning. And I think from that day, every winter, at least 5 to 7 times, I end up picking up some bike rides and just driving around the solar park. It's quite beautiful.
Pretty soon, all the houses in the UAE would be solar powered. How wonderful that would be. Now it's time for us to do the daily roundup. Lane, what do you have for us today?
I've got a little something for you. Now, the lobbyist Greenpeace have unveiled artwork in Paris last week in the shape of a machine churning out bottles in front of an oil derrick to coincide with talks of eliminating plastic waste. Do you know that only 9% of waste recycled from 460 million tonnes of plastic produced each year? It's ridiculous, 9%. What do we think about this? This is crazy, right?
I mean, it's crazy in terms of the impact it's had, I think. But it's one of those things that in order to get a message across like this, in order to make people aware of the imbalance there, you've got to go to extremes, haven't you?
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think that you can make any decisions without having some really hard decisions to make, right? And it's never easy. I think we always assume that the easy route is the way to go, but it's actually the one that you have to stand up for that's the most difficult one. So making tough choices.
LDC?
Well, we were just talking about recycling earlier on in the show, and it makes you wonder with stories like this, it's like, am I doing enough? Should I even bother to recycle?
That's the question. Should I even bother? When it's 9%, 460,
exactly.
It's a big number.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for us, we have this issue with the plastic in organics. It's used because you have to stop cross-contamination and to show the trust that, okay, you bought a product, it's been organic, and here's the source and here's the farm. So it's part of the regulation, which is unfortunate because people that want to buy organic don't want plastic. So it is kind of fully there in the industry with many uses. But like you said, it's the trust. So when we deal with environmental waste management companies, we know that they're doing the job, but then they're relying on a third party, and then you have a fourth party and a fifth party, and that's where the lines get.
Are there enough suitable alternatives to plastics now for your farming purposes?
I think this is a huge growth opportunity in the future, somebody to figure out these alternatives that, everybody's looking for that. The packaging industry has a lot to do.
Yes, and can't thank you enough for joining us. Quick reminder, if people want to find out more about the farm?
You can visit emiratesbiofarm.com, and it's the same, Emirates Biofarm, on Instagram and any social media handles.
We'll see you down on the farm. Get yourself down to the farm as well. We're going to take a short break on that note, but coming up in just a few moments' time, we're going to be finding out more about a new service that literally picks up your recycling from the very comfort of your home or, of course, your office space. Want to find out more? Stay tuned to DXB Today. Welcome back to DXB Today. Big old focus on the environment today, and with good reason as well. And it is a landscape that our next guest tonight knows well. He leads the strategic development of a free door-to-door collection service for recyclables. Please welcome to the show the General Manager of Recap by Veolia. It is Jérôme Verissel. Jérôme, thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Good evening.
Great initiative. I'll tell you why. Because this is exactly what we've been talking about.
Yes.
We've been talking about this very thing throughout the entire show, is the fact that, OK, we've got the bins, etc., we put our stuff in, but none of us are taking the bins to the right collection points. But you're taking that service away. You're providing a service for that.
Exactly. What we try to do, it's really to make sure that people can trust the service that we provide. How? It's super simple. What we provide is a solution, a digital solution. So at your home, at your doorstep, we make sure that if we come and reach your home and we spend so much energy and effort to do that, it's because we want to recycle what we collect. So this digital solution is very easy to use, it's effortless and free and rewardful.
Now, I would definitely remove some of the apps on my phone to put this app on. 100%.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it's great. So how did you even come up with the idea?
I'm from Veolia, so a waste management company, one of the largest in the world. And we have a lot of seed in the company. So we try to develop a new project internally. So recap, it's like a startup in a big group. I'm free to develop it. And it become something important now because we have 55,000 people who don't know the application. But at the beginning, it was really to find a solution to make sure that if we have to invest more in the country as a recycler, for example, we wish in the future to open a recycling facility, but you need feedstock. So when we are talking about recycling, the first step is not recycling. The first step is awareness to make sure that people can understand what is segregation at source. And it means that at that time you're able to have a system in place where you can secure a feedstock which enable you to secure your factory. Because if you have to run a factory, a recycling plant without any feedstock, what you can do, if your bottles are in the landfill, you cannot recycle anything. So the idea was to make sure that we can really reach the consumer, talk to them directly. And with a digital tool, you can do that.
So how do you, I love this idea of coming to Dubai and the UAE and expanding, because I think it's a gap that exists in the system right now. Myself, like in my building that I live in, I'm not really certain that, when I'm actually washing my bottles and separating it, I just don't know if it actually goes to the right place. So tell me about sort of how, if beyond just the app, if I wanted to create like a community within my building to say, hey, the reason I'm saying that is because if I want to reduce the carbon footprint of your truck coming to pick up my waste, how have you done?
So we did a lot of communication to make sure that we can densify the users. Because for us, if we go in one location, like a building or a compound of villas, and we have only 10 people who want to recycle with us, it's not enough. Our carbon footprint will be too high, and for us, it's not sustainable, right? So we try to make sure that people understand that the more you are, the more you recycle, the more we can continue this initiative in the UAE. So we launched it in Abu Dhabi first and then in Dubai, because here we have a lot of things to do. The door is open for innovation, for digitalization, and to develop a new system that maybe we could not do in Europe, for instance. So we explain through the application what to do with your recyclable at home. So we are not talking only about plastic bottle, but all the plastic that you have at home. Shampoo, detergent product, what you have in the bathroom, kitchen, pantry, etc. can be recovered. Some items cannot be recovered. So in this case, we have to explain it. So we give some tips. We have a newsletter, we have push notifications, social media, and we raise awareness again. And then we educate people. So we put in place a recycling workshop program with schools to make sure that the student can be aware of what we do. And when they go back home, they say to their parents, hey, daddy, hey, mommy, why you don't use recap?
So that's a big pressure when your kids are parents.
You have to do it, because the new generation is much better than us, of course.
If I may just jump in, you mentioned recap. So I think this is your rewards program, right? To encourage people, even those who aren't used to recycling, to actually give it a try. Could you explain how this works?
So when you recycle with us, you get points. So we have the first tool. It's a full digital solution. So the digital app for household. When you recycle with us, you get 1 point for each gram that you recover with us. So with 4,000 grams, which is 4 kg, you can easily access to a reward system. And we have 20 reward partners, and where you can access to a new discount because of your points. So you redeem your points into voucher, and you can do your shopping with a voucher code and a discount at the end. So this is how we can push any type of nationalities to be interested in the process of recycling.
I saw on the video that they were weighing the bags. Is there a minimum weight that you have to give or something like that?
At the beginning, when we start, we, to give you an idea, we were able to collect less than 1 kg per household. Now we collect in average 6 kg per household, in average. And we have 55,000 people. We do 3,000 collection a week, 18 ton a week. We are going to reach, no, it's done actually, I'm sorry, but it happened, it happened last week. We have been able to reach 1,000 ton recovered by recap. Plastic bottle and cans, because we don't only focus on the plastic, we also collect the metal tins and the aluminum cans. So it's a reward system for the household, and after we decided to do the same for offices.
That's brilliant. I'm going to be the recycle police now. If you can get, you know, I'm knocking everyone's door, hey, recycle. If you can get points and initiatives like that, it's such a great idea. Well
what do points win?
Prizes.
Good on you, good on you. Lida, I hope you're listening to that, because
Exactly.
we've got a quiz.
Oh, thank you so much, Jerome, for that. But we'll get to more of recycling in a bit. But first, Alida, I hope you've been listening for the entire show, because it's time to test your knowledge with our DXB in 60. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds on the clock. You have to answer as many questions as you can. Are you ready?
I guess so.
Well, then your time starts in 3, 2, 1, now. First question, what is the name of the brand we featured that recycles e-waste? Is it A, Emax, or B, EnviroServe?
EnviroServe.
EnviroServe is correct. Which guest on the show is the operations manager at Emirates Biofarm? Is it Mohammed Hamza or Yazin Al-Qadmani?
Of course, Yazin.
Okay, number 3, what is the name of the brand featured in today's spotlight? Was it SolarX or Me Solar?
Me Solar.
Did you just whisper the answer?
He did not.
What is the name of the app that enables you to get your recycling collected? Is it Rehat or Recap?
Recap.
Recap is correct. What year does the UAE plan to ban the use of single-use plastic? Is it 2040 or 2024?
2024.
You would know, of course. The slogan for World Environment Day 2023 is A, restore our Earth, or B, restore our galaxy.
Restore our Earth.
Restore Earth is correct. Which country is a global host of World Environment Day 2023? Is it A, Brazil, or B, India?
Brazil.
Brazil is correct. And you got 7 points. Congratulations.
Top of the leaderboard.
It'll be, well, you are,
Yeah.
look, there you are.
You were number 1.
Mate, running team.
Only one, but number 1.
Setting the pace.
Fantastic. That's such a great thing. I think it should be Restore Our Galaxy as well, actually.
Why not?
That's next.
I love that. That is next.
One step at a time.
Thank you so much for coming. Like, it's been a really insightful conversation, and we'll continue this afterwards, I say.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Looking forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, it's time for a quick break, and when we get back, we have some lovely, sensational melodies. So don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to DXB today, and of course the show would not be complete if we didn't have some musical performances. And with us today we've got LaRuche. Hello,
Hi.
LaRuche. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Oh, it's good to be with you. One lady in pink to another.
That's it. That's it. We communicate.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about your music. I was looking at your Instagram page and I saw that, she's doing a little bit of Lady Gaga,
Yes.
Amy Winehouse. What is your music like?
Well, my music is more funk and jazzy and bluesy. So I try to bring back sounds from older days into contemporary time and make it fun. So I do a lot of funk, and yes, I am a Lady Gaga impersonator and an Amy Winehouse impersonator. So.
I see it. I see
Yes.
the features, actually.
Yes.
I do. How often do people mistake you as Lady Gaga or Amy Winehouse?
Many times, especially when I'm in New York, I get people shouting from the cars. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of fun. And if I'm wearing sunglasses, it's even more, yeah.
And do you try to do the voice as well, not just the looks?
Well, I mean, I sing with my voice, but yeah, I mean, every single song has a different voice and a different passion, you know. a different message. So you should actually be singing the song the way the message should go, right?
Right,
so,
of course.
Yes.
Now, I noticed that when I was also going through your page, it's not just about the music for you, but I think your clothing is a message of artistry for you as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I think you're very particular about your clothing. So do you consider clothing as an art form or appearance as an art form as well, not just your voice?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, my shows are not only my voice, it's a visual thing. So I usually change. This is my real hair, but I'm usually wearing wigs.
Wow.
I actually thought about today, I'm like, should I wear a wig or not? But no,
it would have been fun.
Yeah, I know.
This is just as fun, don't worry.
Thank you. So I'm usually wearing wigs and I wear like very, very high heels. And, you know, I create all my outfits and I do believe that it has to be something for the people to see. It's a show, right? So everything
all
has
around.
to be on point.
Yes, exactly.
Makeup from head to toe, and when I change also from head to toe, my wig and my shoes and everything.
Sounds exciting. Where can we catch you?
Well, I'm every Wednesday in Taj Hotel, and the place is called Paros. It's a very beautiful rooftop. So it's for ladies' nights.
Oh, yes.
So you can also wear the pink.
All right.
Yeah.
And, of course, if we want to find out more about the things that you're doing, we could also check out your Instagram and your social
absolutely.
pages. Quickly, just going back to your music,
Yes.
I know you do covers, you do Amy Winehouse, you do Lady Gaga. But what about your original music? Do you have anything that you'd like to promote?
Yes, of course. I have an original album, and I also have some singles apart from that album that I created. And I have a new song coming up. It's called Hit the Ground. Actually, I never said that before, so this is a...
First on DXB today.
First time. It's called Hit the Ground. It's a very cool song, but it's more like heavy rock.
Oh.
Which I've never done before.
Different sound,
yes, different. I like to, see. And
as an artist, you play around with your craft.
Yes.
Well, we're looking forward to see you perform in a while, but we'll get you ready now.
Yes.
First, it's back to you.
Now, if you're enjoying this episode and enjoying the show, make sure and give us some love. Head on to our Instagram page at Dubai One and give us a follow.
Now, alternatively, what you could do is go to our YouTube page. Yeah, just head on over to YouTube and look for DXB Today. Make sure you subscribe so you can watch the show online.
What a show.
That's it. Are we done? Oh, my goodness.
Well, we're not done. Ordinarily, what would usually happen now is we'd have a little chat about what we've learned from the show, etc. But I'm fascinated about your interview with our artist tonight because I'm looking forward to this performance.
Right? Sounds very interesting.
Indeed, we are. But it has been a good show. I'm sure we'll all go home tonight and make sure that the plastics are going in the right bin, yeah?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we are.
Do it. That's all for tonight from us, that is. Do join us again tomorrow evening, round about the same time. But now, time to hand over to the glorious performance. We're all going to go gaga for the one and only La Ruja.
If I could make you see, baby, what I can be with you by my side, life could be so high. If I can't keep you with me, if I can't make you believe that our time is now, oh, can't you see? Then I better go home. If I could only make you see, if I could only make you feel, or if you could only stay with me, how good it would be. Tell me, what would you do when life gets hot and blue, when there is no one by your side to make you feel alright? If I can't keep you with me, if I can't make you believe that our time is now, can't you see? Then I better go home. If I could only make you see, if I could only make you feel, or if you could only stay with me, how good it will be.
Make you feel alright.
I'm in love with you, don't you see it's true? We gotta make a move. I'm in love with you, don't you see it's true? We gotta make a move. If I could only make you free, if I could only make you hear me calling out your name, oh, stay with me, how good it will be.
Make you feel alright.
If I can't keep you with me, if I can't make you believe that our time is now, oh, can't you see? Then I better go home.